Right, I'm Justin Langford and I'm a little bit annoyed, so I'm making a little documentary regarding a specific issue of a loud bike being tied to an erection, and I'll give you some idea of where it all started. Right, so initially, going back to 2008, I think it's June the 8th, I'm not sure, where it very first started. So, obviously, before that, they were taking the biscuit, applying a specific person, but I can't say that person's name because I don't want to cause offence. Later on, they started timing loud bikes timed to an erection, timed going to a toilet, timed to itchy private areas, whether it's the front or the back, and timed going to a toilet, and timed when you're washing that specific area. Now this has been going on for many years. I don't know how it's being controlled, but they can do it in a way where every single bike on the road is being controlled and to hit down my penis, basically. So initially it started off with half the bikes on the road to 3/4 of the bikes on the road for the first couple of years being deliberately timed to erections, but you did have bikes that passed that weren't being timed to erections. If we move on to 2013 onwards, it was 90% of the bikes on the road. In the year of 2014, 16 and 17, out the whole 12 months of those years, they managed to control every bike on the road to be timed to erections without a single bike passing. It's like they controlled it like a pulley, controlled to my penis. So I was not very happy. As we went into the lockdown, it was still occurring, but it wasn't so bad. And also something else, these other setups, or whatever you want to call it, constructed force does against me in a malicious way when I go out and about, or threats from enemies, or whatever you want to call it, that was dropping just before we went into the lockdown, and I was actually walking into sexy single women, but nothing took place. It's when we came out the lockdown where things kicked off. So initially, we came out the lockdown, and they had every single bike on the road controlled to my penis, tied to erections, and they started including lookalikes to people who sexually abused me as a child, tied to erections as well. But even though they're doing that, the loud bike occurs regardless. They got that fixed. It's like it doesn't just happen when I'm at home. It's when I'm walking about. They're fixing it to every single erection, and it's even occurred on holiday, and so is this constructed force that's malevolent, that's being controlled around me, is also being done in that specific way. Right, in 2021 I moved to Thorn House in Yeovil, which is where I'm currently living now. The first year you had like setups and problems and threats and whatever, but the loud bike issue wasn't actually too bad on the first year. 2022 it was about 60% bad. In 2023, 80 to 90% roughly. 2024, about the same. When we came into 2025, this is where the change took place. So every single bike on the road has been tied to an erection, and this year 2026 they've broken the record of how many times they need to do it in one day for 7 weeks. So there's been at least 700 loud bikes tied to an erection, and on most days it's over 1,000 between the 15th of January 2026 to today's date, which is the 3rd of March 2026, and it's continuing. But the problem is causing issues where you're trying to avoid getting an erection. And the other thing I want to mention is since the beginning of 2025, almost every single day I've gone out, up until 2026, they were timing lookalikes to people who sexually abused me as a child, tied to an erection. And this year, is off the scale. Every time I go out, there's at least 5 lookalikes to people that sexually abused me as a child tying to an erection with other malevolent force, such as making a suggestion that we're ripping you to pieces, making a suggestion we're slicing your wrist with the creator god, tearing you apart and going to rip you to pieces in your next life, and even making suggestions where it includes family members, which is inappropriate, very inappropriate I might add, and very far-fetched. So I thought I'd mention that. And obviously in 2025 and 2026, up until a couple of days ago, the actual threats that I was getting is down, but unfortunately everything's on the increase now. So I wanted to do this little video because obviously there's no need for this being caused, not when it's all the time, you know. And you know, I think it was happening just a little bit before 2008, but it was here and there. It wasn't all the time. It was that specific day of June the 8th, I think it was, of 2008, where it really took off from that day onwards. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening.